Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Throttle Grotto and the ever-going 928 project. Um, so, as you saw in the last video, if you didn't watch it, basically fix the clutch. Now the engine makes bad noises. So the engine's got to come out. I turned the car around because I think in the long run it's going to be way easier getting an engine in without the Datsun in the way. I have this whole area to work, as opposed to being pinched between the toolbox and the car. So trying things different. As you can see, I have my extremely high quality fender covers here for those of you that are worried about me leaning over the fender and scratching something. No, don't worry. The clean towels will do that for me and put micro scratches into everything. So what could go wrong? I just finished up like 3 12-hour night shifts, so not a lot of it, but let's get you guys over here and you can kind of see what's going on. All right, so this is the most hated engine bay of my life. As you can see, like standing at the front of the car here, if I try to reach anything, I'm folded over and my head doesn't even get to this crossbar. So it's not an easy car to work on, and that's why I hate this engine so much, and probably why it did me a favor and just let go here in the shop instead of on the freeway somewhere. It gave itself an ounce of self-preservation and a reason for me to take it all back out and put one of the other 2 engines I have in the car. So let's see how far I can get with like 3 hours of sleep. And I don't expect that I'm going to get close to getting this out today, but I can get a lot of the accessories out, get a lot of the hoses out, take these fuel rails off. I just put injectors on these fuel rails. Like, I haven't even driven 4 miles with these new fuel injectors, but the engine is going to serve some purpose once I get it out, and you'll find out what that is later. So let's get started. Alright, one of the really not cool things, I guess, about how they designed this is that you can't get the starter out with the sway bar in the way. I don't know why. It's annoying, but it's easily overcome, I guess. What I'm doing is, since I have to take this off anyway, I'm going to undo the bottom piece of the bell housing here, get that out of the way. And then this whole thing you can drop out at the same time, pull the starter out of the way. Bob's your uncle. I don't know if Bob's your uncle. Bob really your uncle? I don't know. It's not my uncle. If he was, he'd better be a funkle. And yes, these are larger bolts because I had to tap them out because the ones that were in there were not performing their duties in a satisfactory manner. So they were demoted to a recycling bin and upgraded to M10 M10, because I came down here and saw the lower half of the bell housing just hanging out in mid-air doing nothing. That was fun. I really... It starts to pivot. Stuck on the dowels this time. Oh, dramatic. just like this car always is, dramatic. This part is annoyingly difficult to film. So I'm literally doing this on my back, reaching over my shoulders around the camera. I tried to get the starter undone, and I forgot that one of these terminals is a 7mm. So like I had to get out from underneath the car and go get a wrench. Like I guess they made it a different size so you wouldn't screw it up. Okay, for those of you who haven't had the extreme joy and life-changing opportunities, a 928 clutch. I will say that they did make it much easier than they could have to deal with the issues that seem to come up a lot with this twin disc clutch. I have become more of an expert on doing this than I have ever wanted to be. So it's sorry if I can't give you super good access to this because I only have so much room and so much camera angle and so much light. Okay, so I got the two 10 mils here that are locked in, and that holds the guide tube in position. This guy right here. So you'd undo the two 10 mils, the guide tube pushes back into the clutch housing, and then you have one here, 8mm head Allen bolt that goes through the slip yoke, and there's another one back up here. There's a hole underneath this bracket that you can get into. Yeah, they're 90 degrees off, so like right now the one that's hidden is lined up, so I'm going to undo this cross brace and these exhaust shields, and this cross brace drops out of the way, and then you can get to that. Once you have that, you push this guide tube or this back into the torque tube, and then that allows all the exposure for the piece that goes through the clutch. Once you have that done, you undo all these 13s all the way around, and you stick wire or something in these clamps. It goes in there like that, and then it holds everything in place with the clutch while you undo the 13s all the way around. So you have to rotate the engine, stick these in, and then as you undo these bolts, the spring here drops back and pinches it and keeps it from going all the way. All right, shaky hands camera here, but now that I've got the two bolts out of the splined adapter, you literally can just reach up in here with your hands if you're not. There we go. And you just push this back. Sometimes you might grab a little pry bar or something you can improvise as a pry bar, and you push that all the way back into the torque tube. See, now there's a gap between the two, and that you can push back into the engine a little bit more. Okay, so now we are left with the empty bell housing here, just the flywheels back in place. Still a few things to undo, but we're getting pretty close to being able to lift the engine back out of here and throw it on the garage floor. Maybe I'll assert dominance and, you know how they do in the wild. All right, everyone. I am celebrating with a little ginger beer. It's been a day. Here we have probably the world's first Audi ABZ engine sitting in a 928. I am clearly the only person stupid enough to try this. So let's go over let's go over the positives and the negatives of what we got going on here. So one of the positives, the hood closes. And there's plenty of room back here for activities that involve the throttle body. There's room around the engine. I can get my hand like all the way around the engine on both sides. So there's even room here for the stock exhaust manifolds, which is great. And this B needs to leave. So plenty of room, plenty of room for working on the engine in the future. If I had to pull the heads off, I could do that with the engine in the car. Plugs, easy. Throttle body access, easy. Timing belt access, clearly easy. I pulled the 928 engine out. I measured between the lip and the front of the engine, basically. The foremost pulley, I needed to have 7.5 inches in order to have clearance for the radiator. So here I've got 9 3/4. I have plenty of room for the radiator, the fans, all that stuff, and to be able to work in the engine bay. Both of the radiator hoses are on the front of the engine and high, just like they are in the 928. So getting hoses to work in conjunction will be not a big deal. Accessories, I'm gonna have to do a little homework. I gotta figure out where the alternator mounts, where the power steering, I think that notch right there is the power steering. I'm not sure what goes into that hole. I think the AC mounts down here somewhere. So I've got to figure out those things. Those are positives. Plenty of room to work, plenty of room to work on the engine. It's in a similar spot in the bay as far as like front to back as the 928 was, but since it's a shorter engine, it takes up a lot less room. That's where some of the issues come in that I'm going to have to deal with. So let's take a look at those. Okay, so I'm not going to claim that I have this installed yet, but it's in the vehicle, and for a lot of things that I would normally have to overcome, this actually fits pretty well. So let's take a look at the things that fit well, and I'm going to have to pull you guys off gimbal, I think, because of the amount of room that I don't have underneath here and how poorly the gimbal works. So first off, let's look from front to back. So here's our oil pan, and it front sump. It actually tucks in front of the subframe. And again, I just have it sitting in here like loosely, like it's kind of just propped in here. So I have an engine support bar coming back later today. But I have access to the engine mounts, so I can either pull the stock engine mounts out and fab something up that bolts to the block here and uses an upgraded, like more modern mount, or build something off of there and make that work. But I've got studs or holes in the block, like mounting holes, not holes, that allow me to access that near where the physical engine mounts are. So that's good. The oil filter housing actually fits inside the well, or the frame rails. So I'll have to do a little positioning side to side, but a lot of people have had to do remote oil filter type scenarios. I could do that, and it would give me more room in this area. That's still an option, but I don't have to, but it does. I do have the ability to run the stock oil filter housing. If we slide ourselves rearward, here's one of the problems. So I have a giant gap between. So one of the good things is the back of the engine will clear the sway bar once I pick it up just a hair and move it back just a hair. and it will clear the sway bar. So worst case, if I have to trim a little bit of this off here to make that, get me some angle there, I can still do that. But there's enough there that I can play with that if I have to trim that to clear the rear sway bar, I'm okay with that, which tells me that everything will tuck behind the sway bar like it did. Exhaust, let's see here. You can see the red plug up there. That's the downpipe. Making a downpipe from here to the stock exhaust location will be simple. There's not a lot of interference on either side. If I go up here, you can see that it's mostly like a 90 with a straight shot down. So that's good. Like I said, plenty of access to the back of the engine all around, which is an improvement, I will say. Also, improved access to things like master cylinder, slave cylinder, or master cylinder, clutch master, those things. Improved access. So that's a plus. The negative, the big elephant in the room, is how to get the bell housing about 8 inches forward. And then I have to still make an adapter to go between here and a bell housing. Once I have that sorted out, I need a clutch setup to go in here that adapts to the twin disc 928 stuff. That's doable. But figuring out how to adapt the torque tube, prevailing theory is right now is that we just make a longer torque tube. Most likely going to be the proper solution for this scenario, is just to make a longer torque tube. That is where we're at. But I think, like, looking at everything so far, this is pretty doable. There's some hurdles to overcome. And some people will say, hey, you're an idiot. You should just put a 5-liter in this thing. I will not disagree that I'm an idiot. I'm definitely going for things the hard way. But I hate the 4.5. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's a better coffee table than it is an engine. Some people love it. I do not. I love OBD plug-in scanning. I like that parts are going to be a little bit cheaper, a little bit easier to get in some respects, maybe a little harder to get in some others. I like that I can work on the engine if I need to, like I can get around it. I don't have to like take 16 things off to get to something else. It's a little easier to work on the car. It should be lighter. I'll look up the weights of the engines and I'll put them in here somewhere. But it'll be lighter. The car will be not significantly lighter, but I don't know, maybe 100 pounds lighter. I don't know, but it'll be lighter. It's going to take weight out of the front end of the car. I'm not messing that much with the 50-50 distribution of the car either. It's still going to handle good. It's still going to drive like the 928 should. The big one is like, man, if I brick this motor, I paid like $500 for this motor, 85,000 miles. Just the timing belt for that's $100. Let me know what you think. If you have any creative ideas or places that I can use to get the torque tube longer, let me know. If you got any creative ideas on how to make that gap up, let me know. But here it is. It's the first, as far as I know, so I'm claiming it. The first ABZ in a 928. So that's all from Throttle Grotto. Until next time, get out there and work on something.